welcome to JCT's Fascinating Hobbies. Now today we're going to be looking at this key, which is actually for an N16 Almera, but a similar key style is shared with the coilpack K11 Micra, the certain X-Trails, I think one of the earlier generations of X-Trail, and also I think certain P12 Primeras. So what seems to happen is these rubber buttons wear out, and it almost sort of looks like that is really sort of it for the key itself. However, I've found on eBay these actual replacement covers, which is quite handy. So what we're going to try to do today is replace the front and rear cover of the key itself. So with the cover itself, we seem to get the back cover, the front cover, and this battery cradle thing. So let's get the key apart. So taking apart these keys, they're in two halves. So you've got the half that contains the key, and you've got the half that contains the actual circuit board and other bits and pieces. So let's get this apart. Usually by plonking something into there and then pulling it apart. It always takes me a couple of attempts at these to get these apart for some reason. There we go. So that comes apart by literally placing a small flat blade screwdriver in there and pushing forward like that. Now in this section you can see that you've got this little blue item here, and that contains the chip, which in conjunction with the immobilizer and car's ECU determines that this key is a match for that particular car. So if you ever have a situation where you completely lose the keys, and this is the same on many vehicles actually, particularly Vauxhalls from the early 90s onwards, the only way that you are going to be able to get the vehicle mobile again with a new key set is to also replace the ECUs, this chip in the key barrel, the transponder unit that sits behind the key barrel, which reads this particular chip, and then you'll have the car mobile again. You'll also potentially have to change all the locks as well. So yeah, it's not a easy undertaking, but a lot of breakers do seem to actually sell complete lock and ECU kits for cars which have this particular system. So what it seems to do is you've got the transponder, which is energized, and it reads this chip here. So I think the short distance between the two is enough to energize that chip to allow it to communicate with the transponder. So what we're going to do now, the receiver rather, is we're going to break apart this by just literally prising it apart like so. And what we should find, when it's not trying to bite my fingers, is it will gently clip apart like this, and you've now got the rear cover, this cover here, which obviously matches, wrong way round, matches this one, and this front cover, which is where this actually sits. So we need to prise out the entire lock mechanism, which is literally this. So this little circuit board with these two micro switches. And this little chip here. And obviously what you can do if you wanted to replace this top piece here is very gently prise away this battery terminal, which literally just unclips actually. It's a little clip like that. That will allow this to move freely once you unclip it at the edge here. The whole circuit board comes away. You can actually see a little bit more of the circuit board itself. So you've got this one here, which interfaces with this terminal on the battery. You've got the chip here. There's another little transistor there, I think. And I think there is I think that's a diode. I think that is possibly a resistor. And then there is the micro switch and a couple of other items on the other side, a few diodes, and I don't know if they're resistors or capacitors. They're really hard to see what's actually written on them without a magnifying glass. So this is the old cover, and you can see that it's seen better days. In fact, the cover there, the actual sort of rubber, has actually started to come off and has started to go onto this little button itself, which for some reason has actually gummed the button up. So we're going to just try scraping some of this free and hopefully restoring that button's operation. You can also use some circuit board cleaner as well. So, and yeah, there we go. So this bottom one presses in and out nicely. The top one doesn't so much. So the bottom one presses in and out. Top one, I think the more I clean it actually, the more it's beginning to come back. So normally you shouldn't actually have any damage on these buttons at all, but it seems that this one from this N16 Almera has had quite a bit of heavy use, so it would appear that this button has been destroyed. Now you could probably just about get a soldering iron into there, as it's mounted on the top side of this multi-layer circuit board. So you could probably just about get a soldering iron in there to unsolder it and replace this button with another similarly sized micro switch. However, for the demonstration purposes of this video, we're going to go about reassembling the key if we were in a normal situation where the key mechanism itself, the actual circuit board, was okay. So we need to collect this terminal off of this battery. Now it actually tells us here we need a CR2025. So this is a CR2025 button cell. I have in the past managed to install a 2032, which is a more common size than the 2025. 2032 is a size you find on the majority of computer motherboards, or more recent computer motherboards. Earlier motherboards used sort of different sort of types of cells, but the more common ones that you see nowadays use 2032 button cells. So let's see if we can prise this out of here. It is a bit fiddly, but hopefully with some gentle persuasion it should come out. So it looks like if you get the screwdriver into the back here, that's enough to disturb it at the back, and I can then a bit more prying, get it out. So let's move these old pieces out of the way. So we've got the old top and back cover. I can move those out of the way. Now we've got the new back cover. And compared to the old one, it is just a generic sort of copy, so there's no advice about what the type of battery is. There's also no Nissan logo on the back, so if you don't mind losing your Nissan logo, it is advisable to use the new back, because obviously it matches the front. So what we're going to do first is reinstall this little battery clip, or battery terminal rather, and that slides in like so, and with a little bit of pressure you should be able to get that in. As I say, it is quite a fiddly job this, so it needs a bit of patience and a bit of time to get it all in and sorted. So that's interesting. So let's have a look at these two together. It would appear that the old one is ever so slightly wider than this new one. So I don't know if that is a problem with the plastic moulding. It looks like it hasn't taken as much as it should. So let's see if we can widen this new one slightly. Alright, it's hopefully a little bit wider. And there you go. So with that being widened a little bit, I was able to get this to go back in. So it looks like the moulding for the plastic was not quite 100%. It's not the end of the world because we're now in. So the other thing you need to remember, on the old one you got the minus symbol, so you need to remember that this side of the button cell is negative, and the side with all of the markings advising you what type of button cell it is positive. So let's plop that back in there. If you're doing this, it is advisable at the same time to replace the button cell itself. So let's have a look at this and remember how this goes back together. So we need this to clip back on, which I believe it goes on to this side. Yeah, because we've got the terminal here, which is for the, that's a contact there is for the negative side of the cell. Sorry, the is that positive or negative? It's one of the two. I think that's positive. So the negative is there, I think. How does that go in again? Oh yeah, this way. Yeah, that's right. So that is your negative side, which communicates with the bottom of the cell itself, or rather the edge. And you've got the top half of the cell, which is positive. So this clips back together, like so. We have this one here literally just sort of clips on like this. There's a little tag on there that we need to click into rather. There you go. With that rather cute little clicky noise, that means that we're in here. We now have to go to our new button pack here with our fresh buttons, which do look a lot nicer actually than these ones, which are just destroyed basically. And we go following the contour of the actual thing itself, the casing. Should be able to click this into place. If there's any problems with it clicking into place, don't force it, prise it out again, and just take a look at things. Try and go in from different angles. So in this case, we're going to go backwards, front, and in, and that should be. That should be there. So now we just need to clip the two halves together. Like so. That's the two halves clipped together, and then we just refit the key portion. So if you remember, the side with the CE marking on it, so the reverse of the key, the side that doesn't have nats written on it basically, and the side that has this chip on it, the chip slots into this portion here, and the key just literally clips together like so. So what we have done is we've gone from this to this. The only thing missing is obviously the Nissan logo on the other side. But if you can live without that and you're happy to have a nice fresh looking key, then it is a really worthwhile investment of just a couple of pounds, I think this was. I think there are more expensive ones out there, so I don't know if the more expensive ones actually have the proper logo on the back. But this is an aftermarket replacement, and it seems there are some sort of detail differences. One example is this little notch here, which on the old one you would actually place the screwdriver into to prise it forward. Doesn't seem to exist on the new one. So when you put it together, it does clip into place. It is, you know, that's not going to come apart with normal average use. But when you come to take it apart, you do have to do that, and it does come apart easily enough. So it's actually, if you look at it, I think, oh no, it's not slightly lower. The profile is slightly different though. So that one goes up slightly, that's more flat. And there you go. Anyway, if you have found this video useful, don't forget to hit that like button and also consider subscribing for more upcoming fascinating hobbies. Thank you very much for watching.